Hi, I'm Marshall Crosley. Welcome to Real World Pediatrics. So today I want to talk about sports and playing hurt. Now, there are a lot of injuries in pediatrics, but I don't need to tell that to you parents out there. You know it already. Now, one of the questions that I get frequently is, what can my child do to get better faster? In a short answer, rest. Rest is the most important thing in healing. It's also the most frustrating because it means we have to wait. Now, when I give you this advice, I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to myself because I'm just like you. I hate resting. I've got to be doing something. I've got to be moving around. I can't just be sitting still. But as a pediatrician, I know that I've got to rest. Now, when the body rests, you get better repair of your tissues and your mental well-being. Remember that when your health is compromised, when the health of your child is compromised, it affects the mental well-being as well. It's not just the physical body that's affected. Your mind needs to be healed also. And it takes time for the mind and body to heal. There are no quick fixes here. ACE wraps, splints, casts only help give comfort or prevent the injury from getting worse. The bones, the ligaments, and the mind still have to heal themselves. Now, fortunately, kids have a higher metabolism and they seem to heal much quicker than adults. Nevertheless, it's still going to take time if your child has a fracture or even a strained ligament. Now, here's a general rule. For a more significant injury, like a broken bone, the body heals itself around 50% of the way every 2 weeks. So by 2 weeks, the body is 50% healed. By 4 weeks, the body is 75% healed. And by 6 weeks, the body is about 87.5% healed. Now, usually it takes about 6 weeks for a bone to repair itself to the point where the cast can be taken off safely. But that doesn't mean that your child can play, at least not in my book. Now, I'm a little bit more conservative than other pediatricians and orthopedic doctors. I like to wait 12 weeks before the child resumes sports. I don't want to risk a refracture. Plus, when you have a broken bone, the muscles around that bone tend to get weak because of non-use. So the muscles have to get back up to speed. Now, if you have a mild sprain, the body heals much faster because the tissue is less damaged. Still, it's a good idea to rest. Try to avoid the advice that was given when I was a kid, which was to shake it off. When I was a kid, you would hear coaches constantly say, shake it off. In other words, don't be a wimp. Well, fortunately, we don't live in that world anymore. Now, if you got a concussion, you were expected to continue to play. That's the way it was. It was very macho. And I think that's why all these players in the NFL ended up having chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the CTE. There were no safeguards back then, and there was no desire to have any safeguards. As I say, it was a very macho world, and in fact, it still is. You still hear this macho attitude today when the fans get upset at a player because he's not playing through the pain. Okay, avoid that advice. Rest. You never want to play when you're hurt. It's a big mistake. It's always better to live to fight another day. Okay, when I was a kid, I was a big Phillies fan. I still am. Now, Richie Ashburn, the great center fielder for the Philadelphia Phillies back in the 50s, used to say that you don't want to play hurt because when you play hurt, your body uses different muscles in order to compensate for that pain. Those muscles aren't accustomed to running and maneuvering at full speed. Consequently, you run a greater risk of a second injury if you play hurt. Now, this is a man who would know. And that's partly why I recommend that your child's body fully heal before they begin playing again. Yes, I understand that the big game is coming up this Saturday. Yes, I understand that your child is a key player in the game. Yes, I doubly understand that your child wants to play. In spite of all that, what's best for your child in the long run is to heal, and that takes time. There will always be another game. There will always be another contest. In addition to that, if your child plays hurt, He or she is not going to perform at his or her best. And the last thing you want people to remember is your child underperforming. Try to look at the big picture. Live to fight another day. Rest. Thank you.